Jacob, is Danny coming or he's not here?
He's not.
Okay, just checking. Okay, so Brennan's not here, just Justin. Okay, I'm just making sure who all's in the conversation.
Everybody, good evening. If you're tuning in to with our emergency meeting at 5 p.m. I will call the roll. Ms. Mansfield?
Here.
Is he coming or he's not here?
He's not.
Okay, just checking. Okay, so Brennan's not here, just Justin.
Sorry, I have the YouTube playing in the background, so that's why you hear the double talk. I silenced it. Mr. Elam is not present. Ms. Sebastian?
Yes, I'm here.
Ms. Reese?
Present.
And this is Jacob King, and I am present. First item we have to deal with is the issue with Chromebooks. We have an immediate need to discuss Chromebooks. Currently, the software, so I'm going through some of the background information. There's a Chromebook order that needs to be done this month because of a chip shortage brought on by the pandemic. This means that the stock of available Chromebooks from the vendor, what they have is all that's available. And then and they won't receive replacement stock until November of 2021. So if we not order this month, then we will have 330 students without a Chromebook until that November timeline when they can get them to us. The reason that our order has to be placed by the end of this month, we do not have any time in this month except for right now. Currently, the Chromebooks will not be supported by Google any longer, meaning they will not receive any of the security updates. And for the state, testing requires that devices be within 2 versions of the latest versions released to the public. Chris, our IT assistant, has done a great work trying to locate and find the amount of Chromebooks we need. He received a quote for us with the best available price in the product. So for us to receive the Chromebooks that are needed, we have a cost of $160,000. So the motion would be is for the Bethel Board of Education to approve the purchase of a new Chromebook software and cases at a cost not to exceed $160,000. Do we have a motion?
I'll move. This is Lida.
Lida for the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second, Jacob. This is Lori.
Thank you, Lori, for the second. Now discussion.
So yeah, this is Julie. I was just wondering, it seems to be more than we budgeted for them. And I didn't quite understand, is this because of the shortage or I don't know. Maybe it can't be answered since Brennan's not on the call.
The additional funds were to replace the number of devices that were going to be outdated. So yes, typically we have a set dollar amount budget, but with the devices not being able to have the testing browser available for testing because of their outdated 2 versions, we've had to increase the number of purchases so that each student has a device that can be used for testing.
Okay, so I'm okay with that, but it sounds like we didn't know it was coming, or what can we do to learn from this and plan appropriately in the future as far as, dollar amount goes? Like, I mean, are we going to be looking at the 2 versions? And
I would fully anticipate that this year will probably be increased as well as next year. Once those purchases are made, we should be back on our normal purchasing schedule. That'll be conversations that I need to have with the IT department moving forward as far as continued expectations with planning ahead.
Okay. And again, I don't know if you can answer this, but I'm assuming Brennan's okay with this, since it is over budget coming out of the general fund, correct?
I believe in his email, it was gonna be a combination of PI and general, and he said he was okay with it. He just advised that if we receive additional CARES funding, to put that towards the cost of the cost of Chromebooks.
Yeah, I believe we can't use PI funds, right? Because the Chromebooks are only expected to last 4 years.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Sorry.
I think he said that in the past. So yeah, so this is a big chunk out of the general fund. I just want to make sure, because this is a public meeting, that we ask those questions so the public gets informed. Thank you.
Yeah, and then I believe it's not as though none of this was budgeted, though. There's an overage of what, $60,000, and there was 100,000 that was budgeted, correct?
We typically have $100,000 budgeted for technology purchases each year. This would be an additional 60,000 to ensure that the students each have a device for testing purposes, correct?
Right. And it's part of our move to one-to-one, which is, it's a fairly new initiative as well. So, I mean, this is all part of Growing Pains, I think, that are part of that. And it makes sense that would happen at some point. I mean, I agree that planning needs to be done, and that's great, and I should trust that you're going to do that. And that's good. This happens.
For transparency's sake, for all folks involved, I would fully anticipate that it'll probably be equivalent next year as well. But I would say that the initial quote that was provided to us last minute was redone by our assistant, and he was able to knock off about 10 to 15,000 off of what we found in the office.
And Justin, I just like to thank Chris for pushing on this and Brennan for pushing us forward, because I mean, that's kind of a big deal for 300 and some kids to be without Chromebooks this fall. So I would like to thank them for bringing that to our attention as soon as they became aware, and that we are able to discuss and move forward with it. Because as Lyda mentioned with the one-on-one initiative, we don't want to start it and then have a hiccup. And it's unfortunately a supply chain issue like is happening in many other areas. So I just really appreciate their time.
I will share that with them. Thank you.
All right. And and I think that we know that the pandemic has stifled the current stock, but also several companies that have moved to the online work, teleworking, that a lot of the stock is being pulled for that, as well as what's slowing down the production rates. And the fact that we accelerated our one-to-one initiative as well due to the pandemic and our option C, as well as the students in the school. So this is another example of what is helping to drive this initial big thing right now. So any other discussion topics? All right. So I will call the vote. Lyda.
Yes.
Okay. Lori.
Yes.
Julie. Miss Reese.
Yes.
Jacob King. Yes. All right. That moves. We also, based on our emergency meeting, had requested an executive session. We're looking for a motion to go into executive session for items 1 and item number 3. So appointment, employment and dismissal, discipline, demotion or compensation of a public employee or official, as well as conferencing with an attorney for concerns involving number 3, the conference with an attorney. So do we have a motion?
This is Julie. I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Julie. Do we have a second?
This is Lyda. I'll second.
Lyda and Julie. Any discussion?
No.
All right.
Just
I'll call the vote.
Just
Oh,
are
go
you
ahead.
going to, sorry, just are you going to expecting any kind of vote after the,
I'm not expecting a vote from us at the end of this executive session. Calling the vote, Ms. Reese,
yes.
Ms. Mansfield,
Yes.
Ms. Sebastian,
Yes.
Mr. King, yes. All right, time into executive session is 5:10 p.m. Let me pause the video feed.